Welcome to today's training on how to deal with and what's going on with the excess weight around your hips and your thighs. So if you experience any excess weight down in that lower part of the body, this training is totally going to give you some new insight and some help. So what I really first want to make sure everyone recognizes is to kind of get an idea of when the weight started. Was it at a young age? Was it after you had kids? Was it after a traumatic experience? Just really pay attention to when this excess weight started to be held down in that lower part of the body, and see if that will, as you go into this training, if you will get some insight as to what's actually happening. So the excess weight around the hips and the stomach, there's a few things that are going on. For sure, there's extra estrogen that is being produced and stored. So a lot of people will hear it referred to as estrogen dominance. And for some reason, your body has decided that it needs to produce more estrogen than normal, and that it needs to store any extra estrogen. And extra estrogen is stored in the fat cells of the body. And so it kind of becomes this vicious cycle that if you have excess weight that has extra estrogen, then your body's producing extra estrogen. And so there's this constant production and storage of extra estrogen, which causes a whole plethora of problems, but one of them being the extra weight around your hips and your stomach, or hips and thighs. And so what I want to show you first of all is, that being said, that understanding, okay, so my body is producing extra estrogen, it's storing extra estrogen. We need to understand why it's doing this. What is its purpose? It's got every function in the body, everything that your body does is for a reason. It doesn't just happen haphazardly. So when you understand why it's doing this, it gives you a whole new insight, and you can understand your body so much more. So here's your body, my beautiful stick figure, but here's your body, and this lower part of the body, obviously we have the ovaries and all of that kind of stuff down there, which is where your estrogen is produced. And if you think of where your ovaries are, right below the belly button, that is where our bodies hold a lot of guilt. Mostly guilt is what sits in that area. But below that, in the hips and the thighs, the pelvic area, all of that from the hips down all the way to your feet is, we call it the root chakra, which if you follow me, you've heard me say this before, but this is where we hold our fears. And if your body is storing extra weight in this area, it's creating this padding, and it's trying to protect you from some of your biggest fears. So that's why it's important to look back and see what is it, when did it start? Was it when I was 10 and I had some stuff happen, some scary stuff happen, and then my body went into, okay, I see this a lot with especially people that have been sexually abused. Their bodies will start producing symptoms down in this area, the lower part of the body, basically to kind of shut that area off, protect that part of the body. Not saying that that's what's happened to you, but what was it before it started happening, before you started putting on that excess weight? What fears were you facing? And really understanding, like, a lot of people say, well, I don't know what my biggest fear is. I don't know. But I want you to really write down and think about your fears. If this is an issue that you want to clean up, if you want to be able to lose that excess weight in the hips and the stomach, hips and thighs and all of that area down there, you really need to address some of this. And so you see this happen even when people go on to weight loss programs and things like that, is when they go into a program, and if the program actually works, it's simply because they were able to, on a psychological level, address their biggest fear. Maybe it was their fear of not being loved, their fear of being left behind, their fear of intimacy. I mean, there's a whole bunch of fears that it could be. But if you understand what's happening, then from that place, we can recognize, where is this fear showing up in your life? Is everything you do filtered because of this fear? Do I not talk a certain way because of this fear? Do I not do certain activities because of this fear? And when you can recognize some of that kind of stuff, then we can understand the fear, and your body can start to loosen the grip of the fear. It starts to see, it's just like a little kid, like, oh, she's listening to me, she's understanding, she's trying to figure out what's going on with me. And from that place, we can then your body releases a lot of the tension, or the hold that it has on this fear. Then your body starts to feel safe, and your body doesn't need to produce as much estrogen, and it can release a lot of the estrogen. So, and when I do this with clients, of course, we go into very deep detail, like understanding the fear, loving the fear, being okay with the fear, not resisting the fear, all of that. But you have to start with understanding that fears are held down in this part of the body. So it gives you a whole new perspective. Like, okay, so rather than, beating myself up about this, maybe if I understand it from this perspective, we can loosen the grip, and your body will release the excess weight that's being held down there. So make sure that you actually do that. You take the time to look at that fear, understand it. When did it start? Why did it start? Who was involved? Who was around? How old were you? What time frame was this? All of that stuff is going to help. The more you understand, the more your body will be able to let go of that grip. So, as always, if you're ready to go into more depth with this, then this is exactly what I do with clients. We understand, we take that physical symptom, and I guide them through a process of natural healing as we, take those symptoms and clean them up and fix the body one emotion, one symptom at a time, whatever that looks like for you. So, all right, let me know if this was helpful, or if you would like more information. Otherwise, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.